organiza la vecindad, la que organiza la economía de su casa, de su familia. Mujer libre se pone de pie y a romper las cadenas de la piel. Tú no me vas a humillar, tú no me vas a gritar, tú no me vas a someter, tú no me vas a golpear, tú no me vas a denigrar, tú no me vas a obligar, tú no me vas a silenciar, tú no me vas a callar. No sumisa ni obediente, mujer fuerte, insurgente, independiente y valiente, romper la cadena de lo indiferente, no pasiva ni oprimida, mujer linda que das vida, emancipada en autonomía, antipatriarca y alegría.
It doesn't matter if you love him or capital H-I-M. Just put your paws up, 'cause you were born this way, baby. My mama told me when I was young, we're all born superstars. She rolled my hair, put my lipstick on, in a glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. Just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Give yourself prudence and love your friends. Subway kid, rejoice your truth. In the religion of the insecure, I must be myself, respect my youth. A different law is not a sin. Believe capital H-I-M. Mi amor es problema, guys. I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hurt yourself and regret, just love yourself and yourself. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Oh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way, born this way. There ain't no other way, baby, I was born on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Whether you're broke or evergreen, you're black, white, beige, chola descent, you're Lebanese, you're Orient. Whether life's disabilities left you outcast but leader teased, rejoice and love yourself today, 'cause baby, you were born this way. No matter gay, straight or bi, lesbian, transgender life, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born to survive. No matter black, white or beige, chola or Orient made, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born to be brave. I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hurt yourself and regret, just love yourself and yourself. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way, yeah. Oh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby,
There's an outcast in everybody's life, and I am her. There's a shadow in everybody's front door, and I am her. There's a dark cloud in everybody's sunlight, and I am her. Oh, no, I am her. All that glitters isn't gold, at least that's what I've been told. I got so many issues and problems that I go through. Sometimes I can't sleep at night. If I hide my face, heaven forbid, it wouldn't be the worst thing that I ever did. It's a hell of a world that we're living in. James 2:10, a sin is a sin. Don't look at me immediately and whisper behind my back, thinking I'm naive. It's my southern hospitality. Tolerates more abuse than even I can believe. There's an outcast in everybody's life, and I am her. There's a dark cloud in everybody's sunlight, and I am her. There's a shadow in everybody's front door, and I am her. A hell of a stench. The aroma lingers on generations I've known.
Welcome to the 2026 New York Women's Foundation Celebrating Women Breakfast. Please take your seats and put your hands together as we get this breakfast started with Flor de Toloache.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us today.
Está bien. So 1, 2, 3, para papá.
Va. 1, 2, 3.
Anoche un ruiseñor se asomó por mi ventana. Anoche un ruiseñor se asomó por mi ventana. Con su melodiosa voz tiernamente preguntaba. Con su melodiosa voz tiernamente preguntaba. Que si podía acompañarme cantando hasta la mañana. El ruiseñor me comentó, hoy te veo muy solita. El ruiseñor me comentó, hoy te veo muy solita. Una dama como usted debe estar acompañadita. Una dama como usted debe estar acompañadita. Canta con tu corazón y así hacemos armonía. Escucha bien mi consejo, me dijo el ruiseñor. Escucha bien mi consejo, me dijo el ruiseñor. Que nunca calles tu voz, siempre canta con fervor. Que nunca calles tu voz, siempre canta con fervor. Deja resonar tu canto. Tu canto y amor.
Dear friends, please.
Buenos
Draw your
días,
attention
New
to
York
the
City. We are Flor de Toloache, New York City's first all-female mariachi.
We have like 2 more songs. Is that okay?
Please turn your attention to the stage.
por ti todo daría. Abriste mi puerta, tomando mi cadera. El oscurito pegadito me pusiste a rumbear.
Tú tan bueno parecías. Hoy me entero que a otra le decías: quiero bailarte under the moonlight. Me hiciste perder, contigo me enredé, tonta yo quedé. Y te juro por Lupita que esta no te voy a perdonar.
Date corazón con su dolor, bailando penas. Sola estoy mejor con mi cumbión, bailando penas. Eso. Y somos hoy te pienso noche y día, luego muero por besarte, aunque no debería. Me lastimaste, fuiste cobarde. Yo prefiero bailar sola, resbalar contigo otra vez.
Y te juro por Lupita que esta no te voy a perdonar.
Que te cuides sacuditas porque de esta no vas a escapar. Cante corazón con su dolor, bailando penas. Sola estoy mejor con mi cumbión, bailando penas. Cante corazón con su dolor, bailando penas. Sola estoy mejor con mi cumbión, bailando penas. Y somos muchísimas gracias.
Ladies and gentlemen, please draw your attention to the stage.
We have one more song for you. We are delighted and honored to be a part of this beautiful breakfast with such powerful women. We are New York City's first all-female mariachi, Flor de Toloache, 9 Grammy Award-winning, Grammy Award-nominated. Thank you so much for having us this lovely day. Y sé que el amor sincero puede hacerte muy feliz. Profundo ese sentimiento que tenía yo para ti. Dice que el amor sincero puede hacerte muy feliz. Profundo ese sentimiento que tenía yo para ti. Y voy llorando por tus besos y voy sufriendo, no lo niego. Anhelando tu cariño y supuesto amor sincero. Y voy llorando por tus besos y voy sufriendo, no lo niego. Anhelando tu cariño y supuesto amor sincero. Ay, 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 un amor sincero. Ay, 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 eso es lo que quiero. Ay, 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 un amor sincero. Ay, 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 es lo que quiero. Y sé que aunque hoy yo llore, mi corazón late por él. Mañana será otro día y él lo recuerdo del ayer. Dice que aunque hoy yo llore, mi corazón late por él. Mañana será otro día y él lo recuerdo del ayer. Por eso río, río, río. Por eso olvido, olvido, olvido. Paso que ya el tiempo mató de ese amor tan querido. Por eso río, río, río. Por eso olvido, olvido, olvido. Paso que ya el tiempo mató de ese amor tan querido. Ay, 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 un amor sincero. Ay, 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 eso que quiero. Ay, 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 un amor sincero. Ay, 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 es lo que quiero. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day today. We are Flor de Toloache.
Please welcome to the stage Mary Baglivo and Danielle Moss Cox, the New York Women's Foundation Board Chairs.
Good morning. Morning, everybody. That was incredible. Let's hear it again for our performers. And now just look around this room. 1,500 people plus, all in one place, all part of this amazing gathering. I'm Mary Baglivo, chair of the New York Women's Foundation, and this is my fellow board chair, Danielle Moss Cox. It's our honor to welcome all of you, because this isn't just a gathering, it's a force. And the people that make it possible are all here together in this room. Lola C. West and Carrie Malcolm, our fellow board members and chairs of this breakfast. Thank you. Thank you. And to all the members of your dedicated steering committee, to our sponsors and our donors, thank you for investing in the women, the leaders who are creating solutions in these most challenging of times. Our sincere gratitude to our mission sponsors, Ann Delaney and the Stardust Fund. Woo! And our visionary sponsors, JP Morgan Chase and Morgan Stanley. Thanks so much. I'd like to share a very special thank you to our grantee and community partners who are here with us today. You are the ones who are courageously leading change every day. And to all of our New York Women's Foundation fellow board members who are fiercely dedicated to driving forward the mission of the foundation, please wave so we can see you. Thank you. And to our very dear founding mothers and our board alumni, many of whom are here with us today, please wave so we may recognize your visionary leadership that continues to guide us today. Hi. And to our amazing Emerging Leaders Network. I know you're up there. Make some noise. Thank you for showing up in so many ways. And you're the ones who are leading us into the future. Also to our Grant Advisory Committee. These are volunteers who give their time and talent to making sure our investments align with our mission, so thank you. And to all of today's volunteers who have worked so hard to make this event run smoothly. I have a very special, heartfelt expression of gratitude to the incredible staff of the New York Women's Foundation. You are relentless. Your efforts that are devoted to this impactful work are very unsung, but very, very, very important. And a special, sincere thanks to our brilliant visionary leader, President and CEO, Ana Oliveira, who who has for the past 20 years been our beacon and our guiding light for all things. Thank you, Anna. And to everyone who's contributed to making this morning happen, thanks for bringing our community together. For nearly 40 years, the New York Women's Foundation has done something distinct, not just funding organizations, but standing with them, standing with the women consistently over time, backing bold ideas, fueling community-led solutions from women and gender-expansive leaders, driving the kind of impactful change that lasts. That's what moves all of us forward.
Good morning. Okay, we can do better than that. Good morning. Isn't it a great day to be a woman? Woo! You see it across New York City every day, people showing up for each other, neighbors organizing, women stepping forward, organizations finding a way even when it's hard. And the New York Women's Foundation is leading that, backing the leadership, strengthening it, helping it grow. That's what makes our community different. Not one moment, not one investment, but real sustained commitment. You can feel it in this room. Can you feel it? I feel it.
I feel it.
The energy, the momentum, the sense that what comes next is on all of us right now, because no one does this alone. And what we build next, we build together. Be sure to look in your gift bags to learn more about how you can get involved in the foundation. And with that, let's get started with our vice chair of our board and co-chair of today's breakfast. I present Lola C. West.
You all look fabulous, and we're back to our pre-COVID numbers, so that's joyous. Give yourselves a hand. Danielle already introduced me, so I'll just get right into the thing that we're here to celebrate. For nearly 40 years, this foundation has invested in communities and helped turn ideas into lasting progress across New York City and far beyond. Valerie Jarrett has spent her career doing exactly that, building systems that expand what's possible. As senior advisor to President Barack Obama and chair of the White House, I wanted to stop and say it's good to say President Barack Obama, okay? Let's give him a hand. Okay. Valerie was also chair of the White House Council on Women and Girls. She helped ensure that experiences of women and girls shaped how decisions were made. She also helped launch the Young Women's Initiative, bringing national attention to the leadership and lived experiences of young women and girls of color, and influencing efforts across the country. That work took root right here in New York City. The New York City Young Women's Initiative, launched by this foundation and its partners, and it grew into a national collaborative across philanthropy to sustain and expand this work. Today, as the CEO of the Obama Foundation, Valerie is leading the development of Obama Presidential Center on Chicago's South Side. And I'm sure you all have seen pictures of the things that they have done and accomplished. It is truly an incredible sight. I had the opportunity to see it before it was finished. It's a space to bring people together, to inspire, and to support the next generation of leaders, because Lord knows we need them, okay? This kind of change only happens when people come together to create something that lasts under steady visionary leadership. It is because of this that the Foundation would like you to join me in welcoming this year's Vision Awardee. We love and appreciate you, Valerie Jarrett.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lola, for your leadership, for bringing together this amazing group of women, and a few good men, a few brave good men. I cannot tell you how good it feels to be standing here, looking out at this enormous crowd, seeing people who are really doing incredible things. As we like to say, ordinary people who work together to do extraordinary things. So thank you so much for this award. I am deeply honored. So I start with a story because we're storytellers. So 10 years ago, Anna and a group of heads of foundations from around the country came to see me. Now, I'd heard of the New York Foundation by reputation before, but there's nothing like being in the presence of Anna. Am I right? Am I right to set the room on fire? And she said, and I want you to hear this as this room fills up behind me, I think if women's foundations from around the country work together, we can do extraordinary things, and we want your support. And I said, Anna, you had me with hello. Of course you have our support. I chair the White House Council on Women and Girls, and we're all about lifting up girls. And so 10 years later, I now have the opportunity to run the Barack Obama Foundation. Which I am thrilled to do. And as you heard from Lola, we are opening up a campus on the south side of Chicago next month on June 19th. Please go online now and buy your tickets and come and visit us. We call it the Permanent Home for Hope. And let's face it, we all need a little bit of hope right now. And we also need trust. And for 39 years, this foundation, the New York Women's Foundation, has demonstrated the value of trust-based participatory investments in the future of our young people, particularly our girls. And so congratulations to you for all the work that you have done. Now, you emulate exactly what the Obama Foundation is all about. We believe in lifting up the next generation of leaders and investing in them. And over the last years since President Obama left office, nearly 10, we have leadership programs in the United States, in Asia, in Africa, and in Europe. We provide scholarships to juniors and seniors in college to travel the world and expand their horizons and come back believing that we are actually a nation, a country, and a world that has far more in common than we have differences. And we really invest in building relationships of trust. And that means, and I say this to the young people, put down your phones and develop relationships. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to a stranger. We're hoping when people come to our campus, they will stand in front of the beautiful art and exhibits that we have that tell the story, not just of President and Michelle Obama's time in office when he was president, but the people upon whose shoulders they stand, in the hopes that when people leave, they appreciate their incredible power to be a force for good, that they too can go forth and feel this sense of inspiration and connection to a stranger, and to discover that if we work together, you can build a stage such as the one that is behind me. So I am delighted that I want to highlight just one particular initiative that we have, I hope is near and dear to your hearts, and that's the Girls Opportunity Alliance. We provide grants to grassroots organizations around the world and in this country that are supporting efforts to empower girls. We know in America that when women succeed, America succeeds, right? One of my favorite lines that came from President Obama in a State of the Union address, a line that was given to him, quietly known by then Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. As she talked, here, shout out for Nancy Pelosi, breaking all kinds of glass ceilings, and who we announced yesterday that there will be an incredible garden facility at our campus in her name. I know, it's really nice. It's wonderful. So it is in that spirit and behind the collaboration that began in my relationship with Anna and those foundations who came to my office 10 years ago, that it gives me pleasure to introduce this year's honoree of the Celebration Women's Award, the National Philanthropic Collaborative of Young Women Initiative, and you see their leadership behind me. As you heard from Lola, they're building a partnership, working around the country, lifting up and expanding the potential for young women. The collaborative has grown to include 19 women-led foundations, expanding access to leadership, resources, and opportunity for young women across the country. And as we all know, this kind of progress does not happen on its own. And I don't want to, this is such a wonderfully hopeful audience, but I want to say to you and say it out loud that hope is hard work. Hope is not when it's easy. Hope comes into play when things are hard. And we know, based on the generations of women who have come before us, that to build on those foundations requires a steady and strong foundation. And we have to show resilience, we have to show grit, we have to show determination, and we have to show a common love and appreciation for one another and for our stories. And so I want you to know that in building those partnerships together, there's really nothing we cannot do. And so join me in welcoming Shantae Avant and Ruby Bright, who are going to accept this award on behalf of the collaboration.
Good morning. Good morning. The energy in this room is palpable. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. My name is Shantae Avant, and this is my mentor, Ruby Bright, past President Emeritus of the Women's Foundation for a Greater Memphis. It is not often that you get to say you have a both mentor and boss for over 20 years of your career. I've had that blessing. And so it is a great honor for me to stand here and accept this award along with all of my sisters for the National Philanthropic Collaborative of Young Women's Initiatives. We are deeply honored to be recognized as a collaborative of organizations who are uplifting and empowering and investing in young women and girls of color. This award is not only a reflection of our work, but it represents the strength, the resilience, and brilliance of the young women and girls who we are inspired by each and every day. Their courage to dream bigger and speak louder and rise above challenges reminds us why this work matters, and now more than ever. I remember us going to the White House, and when Ruby, my boss, said, "We're going to the White House for the National Council of Women and Girls," it was probably one of the highlights of my career. And Valerie and her team were creating space 10 years ago that we didn't know we would need even more in 2026. So Valerie, thank you so much for that. We would like to thank you all for believing in the power of young women to lead change in their communities. Your commitment creates an opportunity that we want to continue to open those doors and help build futures for those that we know are the leaders of tomorrow. Most importantly, we are dedicating this award to the young women and girls who we serve in our communities, who have ever questioned their worth or wondered why their voice mattered. It does. It matters more now than ever. With gratitude, we humbly accept this award. My sisters and I are thankful for the opportunity to be in this space and place and the energy that you're giving us to go back and do it better. Ruby.
Good morning. I am Ruby Bright. I did work alongside of my partner here for more than 22 years at the Women's Foundation for Greater Memphis. But today, I'm awfully proud to have worked with all of these women or a representative from their organization. There's so many young women behind me, and that is a great thing. But we stood strong. We stood strong. And now we're building a cohort, almost an army. And you know what? We have to stand strong, but it looks like that we're going to have to really think about strategic fight in a different way. And so we must prepare the future for now, not tomorrow, but for now. Imagine, for every one of these women standing behind me, imagine that in their community they have thousands who support the programs, the women's foundations that they represent. We have national recognition with us here. With Elizabeth, just step out. Okay, there's no one named Elizabeth. You could be Elizabeth. Okay, our national president and CEO of the Women's Funding Network, would you please step out? Is she on this stage? No. Well, okay, I just placed my age, so you can give me an applause for that. What I wanted to really say is that we're together across the country. But what we need is for you to continue to support organizations like ours and the New York Women's Foundation. I'm a founding member of the Collaborative. And I tell you what, I got to work I was able to work alongside of Anna. And if you know Anna, and if you knew me, we are a force. I want you to, thank you. I want you to look around. It's important that we feel ourselves in the room and feel the energy or send out the energy, lift the energy. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to be strong and determined, even more at this time. So look to the left, look to the right, and say, thank you, we're in this together. Thank you. Okay, wrap it up. Thank you all.
Please welcome to the stage Carrie Malcolm, co-chair of the Celebrating Women Breakfast and New York Women's Foundation board member.
Good morning. At the New York Women's Foundation, we know that it is the work of our grantee partners that brings about the world we want to live in, with justice, peace, and equality to all. I'm Carrie Malcolm, board member of the New York Women's Foundation and co-chair of this breakfast. And yay! And that is why I have the honor of introducing our first grantee speaker, Tamara Keisha McCoy, an outreach specialist for Survivors Justice Project, an organization she's worked with since her release from prison over 2 years ago. Join me in welcoming Tamara Keisha McCoy. Come on out. I'm gonna give you a hug.
Huge. Okay, Good morning, everyone. I want to thank the New York Women's Foundation for this honor and for investing in women like me. Women who have been directly impacted by the criminal legal system and in communities that are too often forgotten. In 2009, I was sentenced to 25 years to life. My children were 8, 10, and 11 years old when I was incarcerated. That meant if I served the minimum of that time, they would have been 35, 36, and 37 years old by the time I came home. Instead, because of the Domestic Violence Survivors Justice Act, my children were 25, 26, and 27 when I returned home to them. That difference changed everything. While I was incarcerated, I spent years trying to survive, trying to heal, and just trying to stay connected to my children the best way I can. Thank you, our children. Education, it became a big part of that. I earned my bachelor's degree while I was... I also graduated valedictorian. I participated in healing programs. I became a grievance representative elected by my peers and just became someone that people could trust. But with all of that, I didn't see myself as a survivor. I just saw myself as surviving. When the Domestic Violence Survivors Justice Act passed, it gave language to something many of us women had lived but never fully named. It helped us to stand in the truth of what we had survived without shame. In 2020, I applied for resentencing of the DVSJA. For 2 years, nothing moved. I had an appointed attorney, and I spoke to him one time, and then silence. It wasn't until Kate Magulescu and her students took my case, things changed. I had hope. They listened and they cared. They helped to tell the full story of my life, including the parts that I had buried because it was just too painful and hard to speak about. Within a year, I was resentenced to 15 years. My 25 years to life sentence was reduced, and because I had already served 16 years, I was granted immediate freedom. In that courtroom, I told the judge, I'm gonna make you proud of me. And she said, based on everything that's presented before me, you already have. I carry that with me every day. A lot of what I think about the most is when I came home, my oldest granddaughter was the same age as my children were when I first got incarcerated. And in so many ways, I felt like life had given me a second chance to experience the moments that I missed the first time. Now I get to be there for birthdays, dance recitals, school events, and just everyday moments that once felt impossible to imagine. Whew. Coming home in August of 2023 was beautiful, but it wasn't easy, okay? Technology felt like learning Swahili. Re-entry was really overwhelming, but I knew one thing clearly. My children had already done enough time with me in their own way, and I wasn't gonna place that weight of my re-entry on them. So I kept going, I kept learning, and today I serve as an outreach specialist with the Survivors Justice Project and as an administrative assistant with the Center for Justice at Columbia University. Through SJP, I organize welcome home celebrations, communicate with the women inside, and I organize welcome home celebrations. And just through its SJP, through its work in expanding the DVSJA and implementing it, SJP is making sure that the opportunity that I receive, it doesn't just stop with me, but it also reaches other survivors that are still waiting to be seen and heard. And through the Center for Justice, I support work that centers education, healing, advocacy, and the leadership of directly impacted individuals. That's what investment makes possible. It's not about just funding a person, it's about funding a pathway. It is about funding the person who comes home and then turns back around and reach back. I think about the women that I left inside all the time. Brilliant, resilient, powerful women. Women who are not just their worst mistake or their worst moment. When I came home and I saw people marching, organizing, and fighting for women inside, I cried. Because for so long I thought that we were forgotten, but we weren't forgotten. And because of investments like this, more women get to know that they're not forgotten. We weren't forgotten. So thank you. Thank you for choosing to see us. Thank you for choosing to believe in us. And thank you for continuing to invest in second chances, healing, and leadership. Because when you invest in people like me, we don't just come home. We come home, we grow, and we reach back for the families that we built inside. So thank you so much for this honor. Thank you.
Put your hands together for Imara Jones, board member of the New York Women's Foundation, and Abigail Pettit, member of the Emerging Leaders Network.
Good morning, everyone. Let's just take a moment, another round of applause. What a beautiful, beautiful story Keisha just said. That was amazing. And know this, she is not alone. I'm Abigail Pettit. I am a steering committee member for this lovely breakfast and a co-chair of the Emerging Leaders Network. Yeah, let's go. Which is a group of young professional women really brought together by the foundation. And I think something that's very beautiful about ELN is no one is recruited to ELN. We all arrive the same way. We're very restless, and we're looking for somewhere to put all of the energy and the uncertainty that we feel in the world and put it towards something good. And some of us find ELN through friends that bring us in. Some of us find it through the foundation. Some of us genuinely find it through Googling supporting women NYC at like 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night. And we each arrive with our own story. For me, I am a very proud queer woman. I'm the first woman in my family to have the privilege of having her own career. And I think for me, and I'm sure for many of you in this room, that sentence carries a lot of weight. There's a lot of generational trauma, financial instability, and abuse that can be relevant in all of our families that we have to break through. And I was very determined to break those cycles myself, and not only for myself, but for all of the women that came before me. And I carry those women who shaped me everywhere I go, because I know that I would not be here today with everything that they fought for and all of the generations before me. And I know what it costs when we give women and gender-expansive women the opportunity to lead, and what it costs when they're not given the opportunity to lead. For all the women in this room, our amazing grantee partners, these are the leaders that the foundation finds first. The foundation is usually the first grant that many of these organizations ever receive. And the beautiful part, and something that I was so drawn to with the foundation, is the fact that they stay. I think many of us know that it takes long-term investment into people who are fighting for the world that we want to see, and that's how we really create powerful systemic change over time. And today, you are choosing to be a part of that story, to really stay and to believe in what the foundation has always known, that the right investment into the right people is going to change everything.
My name is Amara Jones, and I'm a board member of the New York Women's Foundation, and also a grantee partner. Now, our job is to get you into the mood of radical generosity, to fund the pathways that we just heard about are needed in order to create the worlds that we all want to live in, a world that is worth living in. But I have to first tell you how I got up here. You see, there was a board meeting in March, just a couple of weeks ago, and I missed it. I was traveling, and after I came back from my trip, I got a call from the foundation telling me that sort of at the meeting, I guess there was a huddle of, you see where this is going, of Danielle and Mary and Anna, and that I had been volunteered to make the ask this morning. It's living proof that if you are not at the table, you're on the menu. Let's see how we do. But I also want to tell you a larger reason why I'm here, which I think continues to bring so much meaning and depth to my own life. The reality is that around, I don't know, just under 10 years ago, well, I guess it was 10 years ago, I could see the way in which gender politics, and specifically the attacks on trans people, were being used to sow the seeds of division, to create political dissension and chaos, and to put us on the road towards authoritarianism. And so I decided to take the skills that I had learned and accumulated along the way as a journalist and in politics and in media, and to create a storytelling and journalism project that would actually tell people who we actually are, what was happening to us, and why it mattered to the rest of the world, why it was important, why what happens to 1% of the people affects 100% of the people. And, like a good soldier, you learn how to do things, particularly as a woman, as a Black trans woman, you have to be twice as good, sometimes 4 times as good. I did all the things that you were supposed to do, including, getting all my talking points together and doing my little deck, and then, just going out and believing that I had showed the world what was going to happen, then everyone would say yes, and it would all magically just happen. And then I took out my oddly innocent self at that time and ran into the buzzsaw of the world. And received more no's than I can count. One person said to me, this might be of interest to someone in the audience today, someone said to me, well, right now we have a Black president, and we're about to have a woman president, so I don't see why what you're doing matters. Kind of the rights conversation is done in America. It's done and dusted. We're on to the next thing. And so I remembered Anna, who I had met before then, and got a meeting with her at the New York Women's Foundation, and brought my little deck, and walked into the room and did my presentation. And there was a moment of silence, and I was ready for my no. I was ready to get rejected like I had literally countless times before. And Anna reached across the table, grabbed me on my wrist, and looked me in my eyes and said, yes, this is going to happen. And we then got our very first grant. Our first institutional investor was the New York Women's Foundation. And from that, in the last almost decade, we've gone on to build an organization that has won many awards, including a Webby's on Monday night, has gone on to produce several podcasts, documentaries, including those which have aired on PBS, and now employs dozens of people. And that got me to thinking about how did that all happen? Why in that moment, when so many people said no, did I receive a yes from Anna? So I actually asked her a couple of years ago. I said, why did you say yes? And she said, I say yes because when people come to me, I always try to find a way to say yes. And when I thought about that as a philosophy in the foundation, as a philosophy in life, we'll actually remember that the most powerful word that we've ever heard in our life is yes. So many people who are in power think that the word no is the thing. The ability to say no to people, to reject, to exclude, to marginalize, to tell people that they can't do something, that feels powerful. But that feels powerful to the minds of toddlers. I don't know why the idea of toddler and leadership seems resonant right now, but someone will tell me later, maybe. And if we think about yes, yes is the thing that makes things happen. The first time someone said, I believe in you, yes. Yes, you can go to college. Yes, you can get out of jail. Yes, you can have an education. Yes, I believe in you. Yes, I will invest in you. Yes, you have a future that's worth having. Yes is the most powerful word. And so when we reflect on that yes is the most powerful word, we realize why tyrants fear the word yes more than any others. We realize that yes is the antidote to fear. We feel like we understand that yes is the only way that we're going to make it. And when you look around this room of 1,500 women and gender-expansive people, you see the power of yes. You see that despite the winds and the storms and the breaking outside the doors, that in this room is created hope, in this room is created possibility, in this room is created the future. And so what that means is that we have to, in order to empower the word yes, we have to take action. Yes is about an act. And so please remember that this morning when we are asking you to say yes to possibility, to say yes, we will get through, to say yes, that we will make it. And you're doing so for an organization and with an organization that has a proven track record of doing that, of generating $140 million of investment in New York City into thousands of people, impacting countless of lives over 40 years. To say the yes here is easy. The investment here is unquestioned. And so as we move through this particular program, as we continue to kind of encourage you and get you to reflect, as we move you through a reflection of your neighbors, just remember the power of the word yes and how it's transformed your lives and how it can transform the lives of countless others. Thank you.
I do see why they asked you, though, I will say. So this is your invitation, not to just watch and feel inspired, but to actually be a part of what the foundation is doing. Something I talk a lot about with the younger generation is the world wants us to believe that the future is already set and it's already decided, that the systems are too big, too intertwined, the problems are too hard to solve, and the distance between today and where we want to go is simply too vast. And that's just not true. The future is made today with every single decision that we choose to make in real time. So the decision we're asking for you to make today, it's simple, but it is extremely profound. To be a part of, what Amara is talking about, whether it be $50 all the way to, thousands of dollars, and for some of you, even more. Every amount is going to move a life forward. I know this myself. I'm a monthly giver, even just giving what I can at my age and at my stage in my career. And so many of you know this as well, standing in this room, who have supported the foundation for almost 40 years. And so today is that moment to stretch, to make a bold investment into what is going to come next, because the future is not decided, but in this moment, we get to make a decision about what we want to see. So, that's it, yeah.
Okay, so it's time to make yes real.
Yes.
So everyone take out your phone. The dreaded phone, what's the line from Downton Abbey when the Dowager Countess first encountered a landline telephone? She said, "Is this an instrument of communication or of torture?" But you decide, either way, get it out. And you can make your gift. There are also cards on your table for people who don't wish to pull out the device of torture. But for those who do, you can scan the QR code that's up here. You can text CWB26 to the following, 325-603-3 3395. Again, that's 325-603-3395. I feel like a late night commercial selling a chia pet. In order to receive this link at this number and to make your donation right now. And as I mentioned, to reiterate, there are also forms on your table. And I also just want to say that like, all money matters because all money is energy. Right? So like, if you think that like your $5 or your $10 or your $20 or your $25 doesn't matter, it does, because money is energy. And what we are doing is, as the foundation has done from the beginning, collectivize the powerful giving of everyone in order to create new energy and new pathways. So just think about that. It's not only the dollar amount, it's the energy that you're putting behind it, what you are celebrating and co-signing by giving however amount you can. If you're, as everyone is sitting with someone, we want you to turn to one of your neighbors. This feels like church now. You have to turn to one of your neighbors and invite them to figure out ways to say yes, to figure out ways to build with them. Because again, like rooms like this, tables like this are what change look like. And with 1,500 people, I think there's a lot that can happen this morning. So we are going to thank you for your radical generosity right now. And are we pausing for the community tables? Go straight to this same thing? Okay. Okay, real live event managing here. But before we go, no, not yet. Oh wait, is that a surrender sign? Nope, cut, wait. Okay, all right. So we're just having them. Okay, all right, so we're giving you all a second to have conversations at your table about ways to build with each other to say yes, and we will give you time to do that.
Welcome to the stage, Kathleen Tate, board member of the New York Women's Foundation.
Oh. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And thank you truly. Amara, I am the newest board member here, and you can see I am joining such fantastic company. Amara encapsulated so beautifully what it means to make that scan, to send that $1 or $5. It really is the manifestation of the energy that is in this room. And I want to thank you for that. It's an honor to be back with you in this moment and to introduce someone who has been a part of this community for nearly 2 decades, Jeannie Park. Jeannie has shown up not just with generosity, but with deep belief in what's possible when people come together and invest in one another. She has been a steady supporter of this foundation and of this breakfast for nearly 20 years. She understands something we've been talking about all morning, that real change is built over time. It takes commitment, it takes trust, and it takes people who stay. Jeannie has been one of those people. In her career in media, she spent more than 20 years in senior editorial roles at People and InStyle, helping shape what stories are told and who gets seen. She has been a champion for greater diversity and representation, ensuring that more voices, more perspectives, and more experiences are reflected in the stories we share. And beyond media, she has helped build and lead institutions in philanthropy and in civic life, bringing people together around equity, opportunity, and long-term change. She has helped create space and more voices, more leadership, and more possibility. Please join me in welcoming this year's Vision Awards honoree and my friend and colleague, Jeannie Park.
Thank you so much, Kathleen, for those kind words. and for always being my hype woman. Thank you, New York Women's Foundation, for this incredible honor. And congratulations to Valerie Jarrett, Leah Greenberg, and the National Philanthropic Collaborative of Young Women's Initiatives. I am in awe of you. So, Lola C. West, whom you heard from earlier this morning, has been trying to get me not to say that I don't deserve this award. And I'm sure folks here know it's never a good idea to defy Lola. But hear me out. Because the question of who deserves what, who merits what, underlies so much of what I've been thinking about and working on in recent years. Getting what you deserve sounds like it's just about fairness. And yet, this idea has so often been turned against the very people who are subject to systemic unfairness. I'm sure many of you can relate to this story. I was once on a board that was almost entirely male, even though the staff and the people we served were overwhelmingly female. When I said that I was not going to vote for another male board member until we had a better gender balance, a man replied, "Well, I think we should just vote for whoever's most qualified." So there's that idea, most qualified, most deserving. It sounds fair, but in fact, doesn't acknowledge the glaring inequity right in front of us, or what most qualified even means. The affirmative action policy that I spoke out to defend became framed as a matter of awarding college admissions only to those who were objectively qualified. But qualifications are never objective and are determined by those who hold power. That case was a strategic legal and messaging maneuver designed to end an important driver of racial justice. It kicked open the judicial doors for the devastation of civil rights laws and, frankly, of basic democratic governance. This has happened with breathtaking speed in the 3 years since that tragic loss at the Supreme Court. So you see my struggle with the idea that I deserve anything. And then folks will say, "But you work hard." Maybe? But what kind of work is valued? And who gets to do that kind of work? And I am sure I have never worked a day in my life as hard as the nonprofit and movement leaders in this room, nor as hard as a hospitality staff serving us breakfast today. I have been lucky, but luck isn't just. I admire New York Women's Foundation for trying to counter the overwhelming and unfair force of luck in our lives, which starts with who your parents are and where you're born, and for too many, ends there too. Philanthropy will never be the best solution to that problem, as we need government and policy to ensure that every human has the security, dignity, and opportunity they deserve. To get there, however, takes money. Money to fund the visionaries in this room who will lead the transformation we need. So please, continue to practice radical generosity and give from your heart, because there should always be more than enough of that to go around. So, in closing, thank you again to New York Women's Foundation. I am so deeply honored. Thank you to the too many to name Foundation board and staff who've taught me along the way, starting with Ana Oliveira and Ann Delaney, who brought me to my first breakfast 20 years ago. Thank you to the fierce Korean American women at my table and in the room. Korean women, American women are always fierce. I'll just say that. But a special thanks to those running the organizations that gave my immigrant parents joy and comfort in their last days. And by the way, I'm wearing my mother's jumpsuit. Which she made herself in the 70s. To my beloved family, friends, and colleagues, thank you for getting up so early to be here. And if I haven't seen you yet, please come find me at table 3 or at the reception afterward. And a special shout out to Ashindi Maxton, co-founder and former ED of Donors of Color Network, and Kyung Yoon, CEO of the Korean American Community Foundation. For putting up with me more than anyone else besides my family. You and the change makers in this room deserve all the flowers. Thank you.
Please welcome back to the stage, Carrie Malcolm.
Hello again. I once more have the honor to introduce our second grantee speaker, Gabriela Fadul, a member of the U.S. Gender and Disability Justice Alliance, which is housed by our grantee partner, Women Enabled International. Gabriela is an advocate, mentor, and poet who believes in the liberation of people with disabilities, especially women and gender diverse people. Join me in welcoming Gabriela Fadul.
Good morning, all. How are you all doing? That's good to hear. Before I begin, I would like to thank Jeannie Mejias and the U.S. Gender and Disability Justice Alliance, an initiative of Women Enabled International, AHRC NYC, which stands for Advocacy, Humanity, Reimagination, Change, and in particular, the New York Women's Foundation for giving me this platform to share my life experiences. I hope that my story resonates with all of you in the audience in one way or another, and will inspire you to honor your humanity in a world that constantly wants you to remain small. Growing up with cerebral palsy, I became aware very early that people saw me differently. Sometimes people were afraid to talk to me. Often people had already decided what I was capable of even before I even spoke. And because of that, I felt like I had to grow up very fast. I didn't really have that childhood where I could just run around, play, get dirty, and exist without thinking about how I was being perceived. And for a long time, I thought that was normal. That was my normal. Because unfortunately, disability is often associated with brokenness, a negative connotation. Brokenness meant being less than, less capable, less powerful. But over time, I started learning that disability does not equal brokenness. Disability was, rather, part of the human experience. Disability was more normal than what society made it out to be. My journey with advocacy began as a teenager, mostly by talking openly about my experiences online and connecting with other disabled people. And honestly, at first, advocacy was just learning how to self-advocate. I had to learn there was no shame in talking about my experiences, even the most painful ones. Before I could fully tell my story directly, I wrote pieces of it through poetry. I often felt like I was navigating a world that wasn't built for me, though I still existed in it. Poetry served as a medium of expression where I could be myself without having to insert my presence in literary form. Aside from poetry, I also wrote short articles that cited my disability experiences. After many years, that led me to become involved with the U.S. Gender and Disability Justice Alliance, an initiative of Women Enabled International, where I found community and a space to speak openly about disability, trauma, healing, and what it means to be fully seen as human. Because sometimes advocacy is not a huge public endeavor that people imagine. Sometimes advocating is just having a conversation with someone. Advocacy can be encouraging someone else to believe that they deserve support too. My story has also been shaped by trauma, including sexual assault, and for a long time, I carried that pain very quietly. I spent years in therapy learning how to sit with the pain that did not just disappear overnight. And one of the biggest things I learned is that trauma does not have to define the entirety of who you are. You can emerge from pain and still become fulfilled. You can still become someone who gives back. You can still find joy. Thank you, thank you. You can still find joy. I often have to repeat that because often when I think of maybe things that make me sad or rejections, I often have to remember that I can still find joy. Today, I work with AHRC New York City, where I help support people with disabilities in finding employment, building confidence, and building community. Because disabled people are often isolated from the outside world. And a lot of what I do is helping bridge that gap, helping people see possibility in themselves, and helping employers and communities see disabled people differently too. What I want people to leave with today is that disability is not a curse or something that causes burden. Having a disability does not make you inferior or less than human. And your experiences as disabled people, good or bad, do not, and I repeat, do not make you defective in any shape or form. Disability makes you human. Disabled people deserve joy. We deserve opportunity. We deserve to talk honestly about what causes us pain without being treated like we are broken. Please do not be afraid to give up. Please do not be afraid to take up space and to bring your own tables and chairs into that space. In fact, create that space if you need to. In life, not everything is always meant to be happy, and not everything is meant to be sad, but that is what is part of living. I had to learn that yesterday, because I found out that I was rejected from law school, but I can always try again. I can try again. I know that from where I am, it's not the end for me. And finally, when organizations like the New York Women's Foundation invest in this work and in communities like ours, they help create spaces where people are not just supported, but are truly seen. And I hope all of you feel truly seen today. as women and as gender diverse people. Thank you very, very much for giving me this opportunity.
Let's welcome to the stage Honorary Board Chair for the New York Women's Foundation, Abigail Disney.
This is wall-to-wall greatness, isn't it? Beautiful day, beautiful morning. So let me ask, have you found yourself out on the sidewalk more than usual lately, chanting slogans at the top of your lungs, meeting interesting strangers who seem to be just as upset as you are, writing pithy little statements on squares of cardboard? Well, you just might have a case of a new virus going around called No Kings. It's also sometimes called indivisibilitis, and a lot of people have this new virus, and they have it in a historically bad way, and thank God for that. 8 million people turned out to the last No Kings March, with over 3,000 organizers in all 50 states. Wow. Wow. If not for Indivisible, I happen to know I'm a pressure cooker that might have gone, nuclear exploding long before now. And I also know that I might have been at risk of underestimating the size and the commitment and the power of the opposition. I might even have thought we were powerless. But thanks to Leah Greenberg and her brilliant, extraordinary gift for organizing, I and lots of other people like me are well aware of the possibilities that present themselves when people stand together and raise their voices. Leah Greenberg tells me that she's an unexpected person to be doing the work she does, but I have a feeling she's very expected. She seems to have started organizing straight out of the womb, and in grade school was leading the charge for justice when she organized a boycott against Nike for sweatshop labor, and then in high school led a walkout to protest the Iraq War, so nothing unlikely about her. She's never not been organizing, and she organizes right. In 2016, after years of public service on behalf of marginalized and oppressed communities, some work for advocacy organizations, staffing some pretty great politicians, she was facing the same yucky feeling we all know that morning in 2016 after the election. I think we all know and felt that feeling about he shall not be named. Well, she reacted to that yuck not by retreating into her cocoon, as many of us, including me, did. She and her husband, Ezra Levin, reacted instead by writing Indivisible, a practical guide to resisting the Trump agenda, which she put up online, and within hours, it was viral. Indivisible's work, Indivisible formed out of the virality of that guide and became pretty quickly an institution. They root their work in empowering people to tap into their own organic leadership, creativity, and skills to reimagine themselves as leaders. Indivisible invests in skills building and infrastructure to generate sustained movement organizing all over the country and from the ground up. Lots of people talk a good game about organizing, but actually being effective is a lot harder than it sounds. Good organizing starts at the ground level. Good organizers listen. Good organizers don't need the spotlight. They think about sustainability over the long term, and they believe that if leadership doesn't come from the affected populations, then it's just talk. The challenge for all organizers is to solve two problems at the same time. On the one hand, you've got to connect people deeply, relationally, and with respect for the dignity of even the most marginalized people. But at the same time, you have to do that at the scale of 350 million people in the country. And a lot of these a lot of organizers think those things are either mutually exclusive or impossible to do at the same time. But Indivisible has found a way to do both and do it well, and that's why we're so lucky to have them. I have to say that the description of Indivisible is also a little like the grantee partners of the New York Women's Foundation. They listen, they don't demand the spotlight, they organize from the ground up, and they never stop thinking about sustainability. So shout out to all those grantee partners here. I, for one, have a towering respect for Leah Greenberg and the work she's doing at Indivisible, and I intend to follow whatever marching orders she has for me. The truth is, there is no savior that can solve our problems, and there is no magic bullet. No one is riding in on a white horse to make everything okay. But that's the good news. Indivisible offers us this knowledge. We are each other's best and highest protectors. We are our own saviors. And the answer to the hardest questions we all face, there is a way to rebuild this country, and a big piece of the answer is called Indivisible and Leah Greenberg. So please welcome the 2026 Celebrating Women honoree, Leah Greenberg.
Hello, everyone. It is such an honor to be here with you today. And I want to start by thanking the New York Women's Foundation for this incredible honor, and just recognizing and appreciating and verbalizing the deep awe and appreciation I feel for all of the leaders and the organizers and the activists in this room who have been working tirelessly to protect and advance their communities. My journey into this space, this moment, was in fact a little bit accidental. My husband and I wrote a guide taking the experiences that we'd had as Washington insiders and trying to make them available to everybody around the country who was looking for answers back in 2016. We thought our friends would read it. We thought maybe they would take it home and share it with their families over the holiday break in 2016. Instead, it went viral, and suddenly we were organizing with thousands of people all over the country who were dedicated to doing something to protect and fight for an inclusive democracy. And we started Indivisible because, having worked inside Washington for all that time, we had come to a very clear assessment that change was not going to come from inside of Washington. It was going to come from when enough people around the country built the power that was necessary to bring change to Washington. That felt like a tall order in 2016, and 10 years later, things are pretty grim. I want to name it really clearly. We are watching very swiftly as forces of white Christian nationalism and autocracy move very quickly to transform this country in their own image. From masked men terrorizing our communities to the evisceration of the Voting Rights Act and attacks on the rights of Black and brown voters, to the attacks on reproductive freedom. They're going after the very foundations of pluralistic, multiracial democracy. And what has stood in the gap over the last year in the face of all of the fear, as institutions and the powerful have often gone silent or have been complicit, what has stood in the gap is folks like the organizers in this room and the regular people around the country who have collectively said no. And the incredible honor that I have is to work with those people around the country who knew they had to do something to help them find their path. And that means I get to be part of their journeys. The moms who took all of the organizational skills that they had acquired in their years of PTA service and turned them into the power to protect their neighbors from ICE. The retirees who show up to every protest ready to put their bodies on the line at the front of the march to keep others safe. The single mom who risked her job in a ruby red area to put on the first No Kings march that her county had ever seen. The teacher The teacher who, furious at attacks on queer kids and Black history in her school system, is now running for office herself to take out that school board. The IT staffer who doesn't even like people, but they showed up to one meeting and now they're somehow in charge of the hub for activism in their town. The women, and I want to name it, is overwhelmingly women who do this work, as women have powered social movements throughout history. The women who never spoke up or took up space, who thought politics and activism was for somebody who was more trained or more involved than they were, who didn't think of themselves as leaders, but who are suddenly realizing that they had the skills and the relationships and the power inside them to transform their communities. It's a powerful and beautiful thing to watch as people realize that they are the leaders they've been waiting for. So I'm incredibly honored to accept this honor on behalf of the folks around the country, the leaders of this movement, the people who are working tirelessly to try to realize an America we've never had before, a genuinely inclusive democracy that works for its people, one where we all belong and we all have a voice. There's a lot to be done, there's a lot to be undone in the years ahead, but as long as we keep leaning into solidarity and we lean into our own power, I believe we can get there. So thank you. So, did it really 20 years? Has it really been 20 years? It just feels not possible, I gotta say. So this isn't officially a going away party, but nevertheless, I need to tell you some stuff. When I first met Ana Oliveira, it might surprise you to know that she wasn't sure she wanted this job. But officially, I think she's mastered it beyond all of our wildest dreams. And frankly, I thought it was a great sign about her that she was hesitating, because there were some really good reasons to hesitate. And it took a lot of smarts to see that. Feminism, and therefore the New York Women's Foundation 20 years ago, was at a very dangerous inflection point. Even though it looked like everything in the world was breaking our way, didn't it? Like world leaders, politicians were talking about funding for women and girls. Foundations were forming whole arms to get that done. And programs everywhere were popping up. It looked for just that minute like we had won. And yet, here we are. Back then, would any of you predicted the manosphere? Incels, looks maxing, any of it Rogan? I know I didn't see any of it coming, or might at most have thought the word manosphere was just so redundant and unnecessary description of the banks and the courts and the law firms. But it's been such good luck for the New York Women's Foundation that Ana took this job. Before any of the wisest people saw that this was coming for us, Ana saw this was coming for us. This board could not have chosen a better person to guide what is an invaluable and important institution through all the trouble and the choppy waters we've seen. What happened in this time? Well, I think that all of the women rule, go girls, the future is feminine kind of language was a little bit ripe for backlash, because the stronger the slogans got, the thinner the substance got. At the center of it all, there was a dilution that was slow and insidious. We were attracting more support, we were attracting more belief, and that was great, but much of that support was coming from corners of our world where they hadn't developed the toughness that your hardcore movement veteran has had to confront since the 60s, 70s, and 80s, when the first and second wave feminists were
what would I call that? Toughening up. What's more, without a strong shared sense of the substantial challenges ahead of ourselves, a lot of different voices saw opportunities, financial and political and personal, to run off with their own version of what feminism was about. And I knew we were cooked when Ivanka Trump called her father a feminist. She did, she really did. She really did. But Anna, God love her, never had any doubt about what we were here for, and I am so thankful for that. Anna knew that it mattered to expand economic opportunities for women. Yes, that was important, but she also knew it was never going to be that simple or the whole story. Anna knew that leadership and visibility for women was going to be important, but unless we address the deep ambivalence about women in public life, our hunger for visibility for its own sake would quickly turn into a magnet for every liar, grifter, and charlatan around. Sarah Palin. 2006 was a dangerous moment, and not in spite, honestly, but because of all the powerful tools that by that time we had developed and framework who were just beginning to be used. As a for instance, Anna was a pioneer with the idea of intersectionality. Yeah. You know, honestly, they wouldn't spend so much time and so much money trying to destroy a word if it didn't have so much power. It was a hard word for a lot of people to understand because we were still in a place where many, many, many people truly thought that the only thing that separated poor people from rich people was money. To refresh our memories, just to remind you all, intersectional is defined by Merriam-Webster as an analytical framework for understanding how social and political identities such as race, gender, class, and sexuality overlap to create unique, inseparable combinations of discrimination or privilege. Intersectional is one of those words among many others that has been taking a beating in the last few years. So have diversity, equity, and inclusion. And these are not just any words. These are the words, when put together, that describe the very promised land that we all gather here to conjure every single year. Times have been tough, and they're going to probably get a little tougher. But Anna has been the right leader every step of the way because she's led with integrity, with wit, with backbone, with smarts, with values. She has led with values every step of the way. And just to be very clear, I fucking love this woman. So please welcome the Executive Director, President of the New York Women's Council.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. And I know we are running a little bit over time. So I just wanted to thank you for that other generosity, the generosity of your time. And I want to thank Abby for your incredible generosity today, but over the 20 years. I will not forget, we had a coffee at Starbucks not too far from here when we were talking about the possibility of this job. And it is true. You know, it seemed like an incredible opportunity, but sometimes things that look really incredible, you kind of go, is it really that incredible? And were it not for that conversation with Abby, I probably wouldn't be here today. And it was your honesty, your integrity, your investment in the foundation and in me already at that conversation that assisted me to choose the right thing at that time. Let me begin by thanking our Marriott workers who have set this up for us, who were very early here, making sure that we could have a very nice event. Let me thank our volunteers. You probably don't see them, but they stuffed all the bags, they greeted you, they helped us get ready for today in a way that we wouldn't be able to do. Let me thank our incredible interpreters, Avery and Candace, who make us be better than we are. Let me thank you, our donor partners, all of you, and our incredible grantee and community leaders that are here. May I ask you to either stand up, I mean, that would be really wonderful, so people can see who you are. May I ask you to do that? Without you, nothing that we do has any meaning. Without you, the New York Women's Foundation is an idea, not a reality. You bring purpose to our existence. And let me say this, typically, our grantee partners are sitting right behind us here on the podium because they are our honorees today as well. This time, they are not sitting there, they are sitting with you. A couple of reasons for that. And you know that the foundation is a responsive environment that takes utterly seriously our responsibility to support and protect our community leaders. So we live at a time where we need to do several things together. But one of them is be connected, is be close to each other. As Leah says, indivisible, unbreakable. We will not be fragmented, no matter what the attempts are. So our partners are amongst you today, are with you today. We also know that we live at a time where surveillance, discrimination, hatred, particularly of immigrants, members of queer and trans communities, and folks that in general speak out, is a very risky thing. So when we hear that we are our best protectors, we take that very seriously. And we want our grantees to be embraced by all of us and to be with all of us. So I've had this enormous privilege of working with a group of people that, as Imara Jones says yes. It's easy to say yes when what you get from the world is also a yes. And it's easy to propagate that energy when over and over and over you get a yes when you ask. That has been my job. Yes from this incredible board, the current board and our board alumni. I would like to ask you, I know you came, I saw you here today. Would you mind also identifying yourself? Would you mind standing up? Our current board of directors, our past board of directors. Please. The yes people that have made it possible all these years. And I am so moved, and want to ask Betty Terrell Cruz to please stand up again. I know you just did, Betty. Thank you. So Betty is an original founder of the New York Women's Foundation 39 years ago. and Barbara Wynn. I see you there, Barbara. Yes, Barbara is the person that, along with Abby, said, yes, we want you. Come be here. Barbara was my first board chair. Thank you, Barbara. I wouldn't be here without you. So, the other part of the equation that some of you meet them. Some of you meet them at the breakfast, some of you meet them during the year, but that is the incredible staff team of the New York Women's Foundation. So I'm going to take the prerogative today and ask them to please join me on stage. And I'm going to tell you who they are. They will be coming up. Please do that. Madeleine Lamour-Holder, Camille Emeguali, Nicole Susan Sudzinski, Beth Ali, Catalina Kayer Duran, Rumei Hu, Dana Huber, Dimple Patel Jobanputra, Carrie Ann Kelly, Joanna Lecarica, Kimberly Moore, Sojourner Rivers, Kadisha Siddiqui, Natasha Strugatz, Cecilia Cortez Villa, and Kay White. Look at this. You see how my job is easy. We absolutely have incredible, incredible team at the foundation. They are unstoppable, and they have been very generous with me, very tolerant, you know how it is. You have a boss, you're very generous with your boss. They have been patient, and they are so determined. And they are the New York Women's Foundation that will continue to our 40th next year and beyond. So, what did we do together, all of us, in the last 20 years? We understood that the kind of philanthropy we want to practice is a philanthropy that centers our grantee partners, our community leaders, that listens to them first, and then we do our best to respond. We don't always respond enough, with enough strength, with enough resources, but we respond with plenty of love and commitment. And that doesn't happen without the human beings that you are seeing here. We grew our ability to support our partners. 20 years ago, we were able to probably fund a little bit over $1 million. Today, we are closer to 10 million. Some years we do 10 million, some years we do 9 million. That's very important, because you heard from our grantee speakers, Keisha and Gabriella, today. You heard what it means in the lives of people, and in the activism, and in the policy changes. And one doesn't cancel out the other. We must respond to the now, and we must respond to individuals and communities, but we must enshrine policy changes that ensure lasting, broader, and fundamental change in the impact. So we also work with a lot of friends. I am so deeply grateful to the incredible leaders of women's foundations that you saw standing here a little earlier. You know, every single one of them is in a city, a region, and a state in the country. They, like we do, they are public foundations. Women's foundations are always undervalued. They are always not seen as the destination. They are seen as, a nice group of people. They are doing nice things for women. You know how it is. The fact that we are nice doesn't mean we are not fierce. The fact that we work in solidarity and with grace doesn't mean that we're not serious. And every single one of them said yes to the idea of collaborating on equal footage. Every single one of them took a step. At the beginning of the collaborative, we had, you know how much money we had in funding? 0. Nobody came to that table because they thought they were going to be able to go back to their communities with more dollars to do investments in young women. They came to that table because of their commitment. And it was that kind of philanthropy, people first, capital second, the kind of philanthropy that we do together. But we in New York know that unless we secede from the country. I proposed that to the board a long time ago, and they said, oh, no, we don't think that's the way to go. And I said, okay. So unless we do that, we know that we must do it all together. We have learned so much from each other. We have inspired funders, and we are grateful for the funders that have since invested in the collaborative. We are really grateful to you for seeing us. So today, we're able to tell each other in the collaborative, we move together, we move equally. It is truly a collaborative. We don't have a boss. We share what we have. Women's foundations are so locally competent. They are the best instruments. And usually we are dismissed because we are only seeing a local. Oh, well, they're just local, you know? But you tell me, who is resisting? Where is the resistance to the attacks on our lives, the attacks on democracy, the attacks on immigrants, the attacks? Where is that resistance? That resistance is local. When Leah Greenberg says, we organized and will continue to organize, no King's March all over the country, it's every single local march that creates that volume. So women's foundations are the best instrument to have competent local impact and a shared set of goals for the country. So I want to thank, because you don't know that everybody in that collaborative traveled here together. They came especially to be at this breakfast. It is that kind of philanthropy that we have valued. Here in New York, I am grateful to the Dan Novo Foundation, who stepped up with us at the very beginning of the Young Women's Initiative and invested on this crazy idea that we would create a fund, that funders would come together, and you have. So that is very important to us. Together, we're much weaker than we are. Together, we're much stronger. Alone, we're much weaker than we are when we are together, right? The same thing with the Justice Fund. The idea of closing Rikers Island, of closing the brutality, of getting out of this response of incarceration and criminalization of everybody who has a crisis in life, and as a response to our chronic underinvestment and disrespect of our communities and our people. So the foundation has been proud to respond to our grantee partners in that manner. It is that kind of philanthropy that we are committed to continue to do. Many times you hear the word trust-based philanthropy, and you go, what is that? That is the kind of philanthropy that sees people, is the kind of philanthropy that understands that we work in philanthropy not because we are the direct architects of solutions, but because we are invested in a small action of reparatory funding. We are invested in beginning to shift, as Imara said, who is at the table? Not people in the manual, but people at the table. Our people at the table. So what's ahead? The foundation is completing 40 years next year. What does that mean? It means that Betty Terrell's vision, Helen Hunt's vision, all the board alumni, all the grantee partners that were here then and are here now, knew that it was important to go against the grain. It was important to create a place that is by, for, and about women and gender-expansive communities in New York, rooted in community. Most of us at the New York Women's Foundation don't come from philanthropy careers. We come from not-for-profit organizing careers. That is very important to us. It keeps a certain humility, you know? It really does keep a certain humility. It reminds us to share power. It reminds us to be close and not forget what this is all about. You know, philanthropy is designed to be protected from human suffering. It's a big problem. Philanthropy itself, foundations and others, are not exposed to human suffering. We are protected from that. We have proposals that screen human beings out and organizations out. We're not required to go see people where they are. We're not required to meet with people and hear them. But that's what we do at the foundation. That's what women's foundations do. That's what really rooted community foundations do. And I'm going to say, we share with you the promise of the foundation that we must transcend our zip code. Think about that. Each of us lives in some zip code, was born in some zip code, doesn't matter where in the world. How do we continue rooted in who we are, but how are we not limited by that? Either because we are discounted by the zip code we come from, or because we are, I'm going to say, reduced, live in a bubble if we're born and live in other zip codes. When Gabrielle was talking about disabilities, even that word, we all live with ranges of abilities. But one of the abilities that we don't really talk about very much is the ability to be human, to connect with each other, to transcend, to walk through our fears. Let's not have our fears be decision makers for us. You know, that's a terrible delegation. Let's not delegate decision making to fear. Fear is information. Fear is a feeling. It's not even reality. It lives inside us. It's data. Data to use in decision making. And here are the decisions that I'm going to ask you to continue making. First and foremost, showing up. Jeannie talked about, and is an example of presence, is an example of showing up, is an example of being reliable, is an example of saying yes. Leah gives us the inspiration of courage, gives us the ingenuity of stepping into something and creating something and leading. Gives us, you know, that belief we must do it and act. Leah almost didn't say yes to this award because of her humility. And it was such an honor when she said yes. The same thing happened with Jeannie. The collaborative was easier, because I said, come on, folks, we're going to get together in New York and celebrate our work. We hardly ever get that invitation. And Valerie, who saw us before anybody did, who gave us the power of the office of the president and said, we believe in you. And if you, folk at the New York Women's Foundation, can get folk from the rest of the country to join, the First Lady would be honored to share the stage at her first women's conference with you. And as you heard before, that was life-altering to us. The same thing that Gabrielle said, that Keisha said, that somebody saw them, we experienced. So I'm going to ask you to continue to show up. I'm going to ask you to continue to say yes. But I'm going to ask you also to choose the fight. We have so many fights. We must not only resist the destructions of our values and beliefs and institutions, but we also must understand that every single of these fights is important. There are plenty of us currently super engaged and fighting at all levels. So let's pick the fight that is right. What fight is right for you? Every single one is important. Be fighting for democracy, be fighting for our bodily autonomies and rights, for our gender rights, for ending gender-based violence, be fighting for peace. Peace is a women's issue, is a feminist issue, something that is very uncomfortable to be discussed in this country at this moment, but that we must discuss. Not because wars began now. There have been wars going on produced by the United States for a while. But when will we say basta? When will we say enough is enough? Pick your fight. Commit to your fight. Do all you can there. Do not say, I cannot fight all the fights, so I'm not going to fight any. No. There are many fights. I'm going to take this, and I know that I'm connected with all the others fighting their fights. It's really important. This is a time, as all the other times, but this is a clearer time that we must continue. Yes, storms come. Losses come, disappointments come. But Valerie said, that's when hope matters. You know, let's be real, when it's easy, we like to do one of my favorite things, put some music and dance. But let's dance also when it's hard. Let's move, let's not give up. Yes, we continue on. We may need to take a little break. We may need to breathe, be with each other, inspire ourselves, recharge. But then we pick up, we go, and we continue. We have incredible opportunities in the city of New York, in the upcoming elections, to really change things. There's something called a tipping point. You know what a tipping point is? Is when you do enough and enough and enough, and then it goes pluck. There's a qualitative change. We are in that place where we don't have the qualitative change yet. And it's so easy to say, we're not going to get there. But I will tell you, every step, every energy takes us there. So I need you to continue to show up. I need you to pick your fight and dedicate yourself. Fight to win. We fight to win. It may take a little longer, it may be curly, but we fight to win. And we win when we do it together. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank Lola and Carrie for chairing this breakfast, for making it possible for us to have another sitting march together here today. That's our breakfast. It's our sitting march. And there was a time, when I was thinking about the No Kings, and I said, is there a place for us, queens? Because I know that in our queendoms, we're hungry for justice. I know that in our queendoms, we are ambitious for generosity and abundance. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. I will be seeing you next year. I think it's May 5th, our breakfast. I'll be sitting there with you, and we will be continuing to create the world that we want to see now. Not 10 years from now, not 100 years from now, now. I also want to end by giving a shout out to the Emerging Leaders Network. They are sitting on that balcony there. Thank you. Thank you for being here and for shining the light for us in the future. So let me ask Lola and Carrie to come back up so we can thank you for your leadership, and we can end our morning together in the breakfast.
Thank you, Ana. Just want to thank Flor de Taloache for opening us up, waking us up this morning. Congratulations to all our honorees. Thank you to all our volunteers, our steering committee for the 2026 Celebrating Women's Breakfast, our board of directors, our foundation staff, our supporters, our grantee partners, and to Ana.
And thanks to you, to everyone in this room, for showing up, for stepping in, and for everything you've made possible together. There are plenty of places you could have been today, and you chose to be with us. And we want you to know that we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. This is the kind of community that doesn't just believe in change, we build it. Let's keep it going. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. We were supposed to do that together. Let's try again.
And wait, we look forward to celebrating our 40th with you
next year, and on May 5th. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. She got the edits. Yeah. Fabulous. Thank you.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been